Cheers and welcome to Chicago Reacts. My name is Lauren and today I'm going to be looking at a video called Prey, how an ending no one picked contextualizes eldritch horror. This is by a creator called NewtC. I'm curious. I've seen the game Prey played. Like, I know the twists, I know how it ends, I know the one that most people choose. So I'm curious to see why this guy has decided to choose the other ending. So I'm fascinated. I hope you're interested too. Prey is an interesting game. If you haven't played it or like watched a playthrough or something, I recommend doing so. It's very interesting. But there will be spoilers in this review, in this video, etc. There will be spoilers, so you've been warned.
As viewers of my stream will remember, I have a long and storied history with Arcane Studios' Prey. I've streamed the game over 5 times and have almost every achievement on the base game. It was during the first playthrough's ending that I declared the game as my favorite of all time, taking the title away from Planescape Torment. It's this ending that I'm going to talk about in this video, and with it comes the appropriate spoiler warnings.
We never tried putting what we can do into you. Until now. You're the bridge between our species. I need to know if you see us. I mean, really see us. Take my hand if you do.
Right. So, like, basically, if you don't know and you're still watching, sorry, but you play this whole game as this character called Morgan. You think that you're this guy's sibling. And there's these like alien mimic things that are just all throughout the space station and, you know, causing havoc, killing people. And then at the end you find out that you're an experiment, essentially, which is horrible. And like, so it's like, well, most people take his hand. Like, but so I don't know. I've never seen the kill them all ending.
Prey 2017 is a phenomenal game, with enough going on with its environmental storytelling that I'll be going into major spoilers for the story and more specifically the ending. If you've been holding off on playing this game, I urge you not to watch this video and instead go and give the game the 15 to 20 hour playthrough it deserves. I promise you, you won't regret it. With that out of the way, let's talk about eldritch horror, also known as cosmic horror. Often linked to its well-known writer, H.P. Lovecraft, eldritch horror is the fear of the unknown and the understanding that you're insignificant in the grand scheme of the universe. H.P. Lovecraft portrays this fear through the characters discovering alien species that are so vastly powerful or ancient that to us they might as well be gods. The madness this inflicts on the characters is due to the warping
I like the use of the frickin' Back to the Future clip there.
in their understanding of their place in the universe, and the ultimate breaking of their perception of self. One of my community members, Steve Hayden, one day described it succinctly as that moment when an ant discovers that the ground it walks on is a keyboard, and that it understands what the keyboard is, what it does, and who created it. Going back into the mindset of the ant would be impossible, and trying to do so would forever change it. For those of us who have played Prey to completion, you know why I bring this up. The final reveal in Prey is the existence of the apex Typhon, a being so large and monstrous that Morgan, you can't even scan it with a psychoscope. A Typhon that seems to feed on the sapient minds of all living people on Talos 1. A Typhon who we know almost nothing about.
I honestly don't remember this part. I don't remember this part at all of this game. It's been a long time since I've seen it played through.
And actively blocks any attempts to learn about it. A Typhon that some might describe as an eldritch god. So what do we know about the Typhon? Well, thanks to the in-game logs and even some official art, quite a lot actually. We know their life cycle, we know how they feed and what they do to those they kill. Nearly the entire Typhon ecology seems to be built around one thing, and that's preparing the field for the apex to arrive. The mimics duplicate and create weavers. The weavers gather the sapient energy, for lack of a better term, and create the coral, as well as turning corpses and mimics into bigger, more dangerous Typhon. And once the coral has grown big enough, it sends out a pulse that signals the apex that dinner is served. We know that the Typhon are largely mental creatures, and that the larger they get, the more they rely on their psychic abilities. As mimics, they use deceit to hunt. As telepaths and technopaths, they completely dominate any mind or technology they come across, regardless of the experience or complexity. Even the various hybrid Typhons we see are capable of using basic psychic powers, such as kinetic blast or levitate. It all puts them at an advantage over other thinking creatures, implying that they evolved or were created to prey upon them. And
Sneaky.
finally, we know that the Typhon are incapable of feeling empathy, as they lack any mirror neurons which allow them to relate to us.
The Typhon kill us without hesitation. But it's not because they're evil. It's because they can't do otherwise. You know what we discovered? They lack mirror neurons. For all their wonderful abilities, there's one thing we can do that they can't. Empathize with the suffering of another living creature.
It's this last fact that the
That's interesting. I don't remember that part either. It's like I said, I probably saw this played through in like 2018. But like, if that's so are mirror neurons the reason that humans can empathize, can relate to another person? And like, do humans with lesser empathy, do they have fewer of those, or do they lack them too? Also, it's like, that's an interesting way of phrasing it. It's like, they can't do anything else, but it's like, just because you can't empathize with somebody doesn't mean that you're automatically going to be a monster either. So I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know how mirror neurons work. It's been a long time since I've taken psychology, and I don't remember if we talked about that.
The ending of Prey focuses on, as Alex Yu has one last-ditch effort to stop the Typhon from taking over Earth. And now's a great time to talk about Alex Yu, and how his actions in this story make everything worse.
Hey, you don't look terrible in a Transstar uniform. How's your eye? Still red? I know the test might seem a little unconventional, but it's a Yu family tradition. Breaking convention is in our blood.
Alex and Morgan Yu were a pair of brothers from a family of megalomaniacal eccentrics with a long...
I think sometimes you can play as Morgan male or Morgan female, which is why I used the word sibling earlier, because depending on how you want to do it, you can play it. It doesn't really matter. So like, but in any case, I usually would think like they're siblings, right? But
long history
whatever.
of making scientific breakthroughs. As Alex says when Morgan meets him during the simulations test, breaking the norm is a Yu family tradition. At the time, we didn't understand what he meant. But once Morgan breaks out of the simulation and discovers the Typhon have performed a similar action, we begin to really get a feel for Alex. Alex is characterized by two things: his desire to get back the Morgan Yu he knew before the Typhon Neuromon testing began, and an aversion to losing control of the situation aboard Talos 1. For now, we're going to focus on the former part.
I thought I found every one of those damn videos. Sorry, but I can't let you listen to that. Not until I've had a chance to explain everything in person. For now, just... Damn it. I have to go. Just sit tight. Please.
During nearly the entire game, Alex contacts us constantly, telling us what it was like working with Morgan before the Typhon Neuromon testing began. He reminisces about memories both of them had together, perhaps hoping to trigger something in Morgan that might get him to start acting like how he remembers.
I couldn't remember if like you actually had, like if you ever actually existed as a human Morgan, or if you're just completely a, created being. I don't remember specifically, but I remember you're an experiment.
Certain actions are commented on, such as Morgan discovering coral for the first time. resetting the station reactor, and even something as small as breaking an expensive crystal in his office. You really get the feeling that he believes he can get his brother back. But Alex has always been a poor loser. Morgan has described his brother as being allergic to failure. Throughout Prey, we see him trying again and again to solve the Typhon situation aboard Talos 1. But all he ends up doing is hindering Morgan. He prevents Morgan from watching the catch-up video he left for himself, and he locks him in deep storage. We're given the impression that he's trying his best to stay on top of things and protect his brother, but lacks the means to really do anything about the alien threat.
You should be safe in deep storage. When everything is ready, we'll meet in my office. I hope you believe me. I really am on your side. You're just not yourself.
He's not strong or athletic, and outside of the administrator overrides, he actually has almost no control over what the Typhon are doing. We later find out that he was trying to prevent the rest of the Yu family from discovering the outbreak, prolonging the Typhon infestation to a point where it became almost unstoppable. Even when the Apex appears and begins to feast on the minds of everyone left in the station, he insists on using the device he and Morgan came up with to try and destroy the Apex, instead of sacrificing the station and everything it had learned. In this way, Alex is the very picture of denial.
Yep.
And what's worse
foolish.
is that his plan wasn't even a success.
I feel like that happens a lot in sci-fi stories. It's like, but we have all of this information. It's like, we can't get rid of it. It's like, look, if you don't destroy the station, the alien is going to destroy the universe. Like, what? Come on now. Your information isn't worth that. Like, it's going to kill everybody on the station and then it's going to keep moving. Like, just destroy it, kill it. Like, sorry about your science, but you'll survive to tell people not to do the thing. Anyway.
It should only take a few seconds for a signal to propagate through the coral and lobotomize every Typhon on Talos 1, including the big one outside. The rest of us should get away with a mild headache. I'll let you do the honors, but you better hurry.
Some of you may be scratching your head right now. If you take the no-wave ending, it appears that the Apex does indeed get destroyed, along with all other Typhon aboard Talos 1. However, what the no-wave actually does is lobotomize every Typhon, keeping them alive for further study. Apparently, this only had a temporary effect on the Apex, as we later find out that Earth eventually came under attack by either the Apex we see on Talos 1, or another Apex that appeared later on.
Oh, God.
We circle now back to the themes of cosmic horror. A consistent ending to cosmic horror stories is not that the character
I know this one. I know this game. I've seen a lot of these kinds of game. This is the one where they go into the hospital, and like the dreams are coming alive, and like there's that like creepy white kid Leslie who's got like magic or something, and there's weird monsters.
Characters win, but that they survived, albeit with a scarred mental state that may deteriorate over time. Hopelessness is nearly synonymous with these kinds of stories. You can't succeed against something this powerful. Only hope it stopped paying attention to you. Alex never understood that. Alex thought he still had the opportunity to fix everything. Alex thought he could play God with a species that specializes in killing things that could worship. And in my favorite ending of Prey, Alex is dead wrong.
Ooh, okay, I want to see.
I need to know if you see us. I mean, really see us. Take my hand if you do.
I don't understand.
If you get enough scan data, the labs will open. More importantly, you'll be able to install Typhon-based neuromods. You'll be unstoppable. That's what this is all about, Morgan.
Okay,
When
what
Morgan
this
is
all-
exploring psychotronics, he can find a transcribe with information about Project Cobalt, an experiment to try and give Typhon the ability to see humans like we see.
To give them mirror neurons.
During
or
that
whatever.
transcribe, Morgan suggests the use of the looking glass tech as a way to allow empathy to develop in a Typhon-human hybrid. Attentive players may notice that this is the exact same simulation that the final part of the game refers to. After the credits roll, the player is loaded into an unknown place, and they get to see why they occasionally experience the glitches in the game.
Ooh.
The players themselves are a Typhon-human hybrid that's
Right.
been experiencing the events of Talos 1 to give it a chance to either develop empathy for humans or reveal itself as a failure through its actions.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that's what I was like remembering. I was remembering that you're an experiment of some kind. But that's why I was like, I couldn't remember if you were actually even related to Alex Yu. Like, I couldn't remember if they used that sibling's body as like I don't remember any of that. I was just like, I only remember that you were an experiment. And that's it.
Here's where things get very interesting about the kill them all ending. To get this ending, a player must pass a baseline empathy test, meaning they had to help the people aboard Talos 1 and generally prove that in times of crisis they were on humanity's side. So why is this option here to begin with? The way I see it, there are two outcomes to this experiment that would result in the hybrid getting to this point. Option 1. The hybrid lashes out in anger at being tricked. It
Right.
seems that this is the commonly agreed reaction.
I mean, that would make sense because, like, you've been told this whole time that you're something, and then, like, that this is who you are, this is what is happening, and then, like, you find out that it's all been a lie and an experiment. That would be infuriating. It's like, no, F you. Like, why should I believe anything else you say?
The player character wakes up from a dream thought to be real life, only to discover that it's been lied to. It's a crime of passion, one that leaves little to the imagination as to what happens to the hybrid after this point. I personally find it boring, but it is a perfectly practical response. I'd probably do the same thing. In this case, the experiment is actually a success, as it's a very human response to being tricked. Alex and his operator creations may be dead, but they die accomplishing what they set out to do. Option 2. The hybrid has been slowly becoming aware of its presence in a simulation. Prey's story begins with the player waking up and going about their first day of work, then shatters that simulation within minutes. During their route through Talos 1, the hybrid learns about the looking glass tech, how it works, and the possibility that it can be used for trickery. Soon after learning about Project Cobalt and the Typhon's lack of mirror neurons, they install their first Typhon neuromod. And for just a second, they wake up and see the world for what it really is before being plunged back into the simulation. Suspicion begins to creep at their mind, and they understand that with what's aboard Talos 1, reality can't be trusted. They see Dahl get his neuromods removed, dramatically changing his allegiances with a simple lie. The hybrid realizes that if it acts out, it might suffer a similar fate.
See, like, I need to, like, rewatch this game or, like, play it myself or something because, like, I don't remember a lot of this. And I definitely know that in my memory of, like, when I watched Markiplier play this game, and there was a lot of jokes about how the main character looks like Markiplier, but, like, I don't remember a lot of the story. I remember really enjoying learning what the story was and, like, learning the lore of the game, but, like, I don't remember this. I certainly don't remember, like, catching on to the fact that everything was an experiment until I was told. Like, and maybe I'm an idiot. That's also possible.
And it's right, too.
We failed. This isn't the one.
Start over.
It knows something is watching, but it doesn't yet know who. And when the curtain is finally withdrawn, it takes its opportunity and strikes back, ending Alex's tiny hopes that he can fix this mess. Alex's last hope to teach a monster how to love was turned into yet another hunting mechanism for a species that hunts those that can love.
I don't think you'll do it. I know. Because I used to think we couldn't be trusted to play with fire without burning the house down. But you convinced me. You showed me anything was possible, even if the price was steep. That part of you is still in there. We can make history, Morgan. Not those leeches on the TranStar board of directors, not Mom and Dad. You and I. Just like we planned.
And again, I think, most people, I think, do choose the we'll try and save everything, but he's kind of winning me over to this kill them all ending.
The ending paints a beautiful mix of emotions for me. The hybrid is both the victim of the Typhon and the Typhon itself, with Alex taking the place of the eldritch god in its own story. Prey portrays both the crushing insignificance of a human and the cold calculation of a hunting beast. It's the irony of putting the Typhon through what they inflicted on others that makes Project Cobalt one of my favorite framing devices. I've frequently heard the "it was all a dream, so none of it matters" complain about Prey's ending. I think that's one of the worst reductive statements I've ever heard.
I would agree.
Everything on Talos 1 happened. It
Yeah.
happened to you, the player, because of what the player is. And that framing device is only because Talos happened. And it's that fact that gives this ending its meaning. So why did I make this video? It wasn't to convince all of you that Kill Them All was the best ending. It was to delve into the speculation that could be done with what's left unsaid about Prey's story. Sometimes the mystery is a more effective storytelling tool than spelling out every bit of lore, and personally, I'm happy with what we got. Some might see Prey as a game that ended too early. I personally find that all of the endings together paint a clearer picture. No, a more entertaining picture than any of them alone. But even more than that, I wanted to share a little bit of why I love Prey. Through this story, it gave me a truly human look from inhuman eyes, and it did it in a way I wasn't expecting. The connection between Prey's Typhon and Lovecraftian abominations wasn't even something I thought of until the third rewrite of this script, and I love the game all the more for it. Kill Them All truly is the only ending I'll accept, because for me it matches what I'm looking for in a story. Eldritch horror that doesn't stray from its themes. I hope this video was interesting.
I do like that they give you that option. I do appreciate that. It was a clever idea. I think more stories should do that. I give you an extra option at the end of a game. The Last of Us, they don't give you the chance. You kill you kill the doctor, you kill Marlene, you take Ellie. It's I think it would be interesting to not kill the doctor, to see what happens. Obviously, because again, at the time, they didn't know that the doctor was going to be Abby's dad for Last of Us 2. That wasn't necessarily part of their mentality. That her dad could have literally been anybody he killed throughout the game. It doesn't matter. So I don't know. It's just you don't have a choice. And it's interesting that you don't have a choice. To let Ellie die or to save her, maybe, would be the choice that you make at the end there. And say what you will about The Last of Us, I still think that Ellie should have been the one to make the choice. But they weren't going to give her, they didn't give her that option. But I just think it's interesting. I just think it's interesting that they give you played through this whole thing with the intention of, we've got to save everybody. And then at the end, you find out that you're an experiment, you've been lied to, nothing that you've seen is correct or real or true. It's well, who do you trust now? So obviously you need to have the option to kill them all. I like that.
For you. I've been wanting to make it for a long, long time. And now that I don't stream anymore, I finally have a moment to collect and organize my thoughts about this game. If it was interesting, please let me know in the comments below. I have quite a few more video ideas, but this kind of content takes considerable time and effort to make, so don't expect to see another one for quite a while. If you feel like showing a little more direct support, you can find my Patreon in the description below. For now, I hope you all have a safe trip through the dark forest, and good night.
I keep having this dream. I'm just staring into the black between the stars. There's something there. I know there is. I just can't see it. But it sees me. I can feel it. Hate us. We thought we could cage them and steal their secrets. We were wrong.
It is interesting. It is interesting. So anyway, I hope you liked that. Again, that was NewtC is the creator of this particular of this video. I give them a check out. Like, maybe I don't know where their streaming information is. But you know, they've got yeah, I'm not sure. I can't find a link to their streaming channel, but this is their YouTube, and I'll link that in the description below, of course, as always. Thanks again for watching. If you want to see more stuff about Prey, let me know. If whatever else you would like to see, put it in the comments below. You can find us on Discord. Let us know what you would like to see there as well. And I guess I will see you all in the next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe here as well. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.